you've got a powerful message here. It's all about shifting perspective from effort to divine alignment through the spoken word. Let's rephrase this for a US audience, keeping the length and core meaning intact, but with a more direct and contemporary feel. They say the top 1% think differently, but I argue they speak differently. They don't beg, they don't doubt, they don't cower before circumstances. They understand the law and declare it with authority. Most people see success as a mountain to climb, but those who operate in spiritual power simply speak to the mountain, and it moves. If you feel small, unseen, and stuck in the same old patterns year after year, it's because you've agreed to play by the world's rules, not by God's. You've told yourself, it's too late, I'm too far behind, it must be easier for them. But I tell you now, there's no competition in the spiritual kingdom, there's only alignment, and alignment starts in the inner court of your mind, where every word is a verdict. What have you been declaring? What sentences have you passed on yourself in secret? Have you called yourself unlucky, behind, not ready, or not enough? If so, it's no wonder your fortune's gates remain shut. But I promise you, the moment you change your inner decree, the outer world must obey. Scripture says, you will also decree a thing, and it will be established for you. There's no delay in the spirit, the delay is always in your belief, your speech, your willingness to accept what's already yours by divine right. Here's the truth. The top 1% don't just think harder or hustle more. They believe more fully and speak more boldly. They live knowing that supply is spiritual, not material. They speak riches, and riches appear. They affirm success, and success finds them. They've mastered the mind's game, and the world rewards them. So, child of God, are you ready to speak like the wealthy? Ready to command your good, not chase it? Ready to think like the 1%? Then let's begin. The world has taught you to strive, to earn, to prove yourself through effort, competition, and endless motion. But I'm teaching you a higher law, the law that silently governs kings and queens, builds palaces without bricks, and opens doors without keys. It's the law of the spoken word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and that Word has never lost its power. The world's rich might talk strategy and structure, but the rich in spirit speak of certainty and spiritual structure. The top 1% may seem to operate through logic and legacy, but beneath their actions is an inner vibration, a frequency of dominion that assumes good is inevitable. This law cannot be broken, for as a person thinks in their heart, so are they. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe is already yours. Belief is shaped by repetition, words spoken aloud with conviction, rhythm, joy, and bold expectation. Now listen closely, because this is where many stumble. They try to manifest wealth through positive thinking, but thinking alone isn't enough. Thought builds the mold, but the word activates the substance. You must say it, declare it, prophesy over your own life. The modern world has trained you to be silent, humble, hesitant, but spiritual law demands audacity. God loves boldness. Come boldly to the throne of grace, that you may obtain, I say. Come boldly. Speak your word and claim your inheritance. Sheep are silent. Lions roar. You weren't born to bleat. You were born to decree. The world's solutions, saving more, working harder, getting another certification, these are for those who've forgotten who they are. But the spiritually enlightened don't ask permission. They don't wait for external validation. They don't consult appearances. They declare what's theirs by divine right, and the universe rearranges itself to obey. You're not here to earn wealth. You're here to receive it. You're not here to chase success. You're here to align with it. And alignment comes not through effort, but through inner speech. That's how the top 1% truly live. That's their secret, not inherited money, but inherited law. And the law doesn't favor anyone. What it's done for one, it will do for all, when rightly claimed. So I ask you now, what are you commanding? What words are you pouring into the mold of your life? Whatever you speak in faith shall be established. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, and you will eat its fruit. Speak wrongly, and you'll taste struggle. Speak rightly, and you'll feast on abundance. The difference between struggle and supply isn't effort, dear one, it's utterance. It's not action, it's alignment. So choose now. Will you speak like the poor in spirit, or like the rich in law? I once knew a man, let's call him Thomas. who grew up in a house where money was scarce and fear was abundant. His father often talked of layoffs, taxes, bills, and burdens. His mother would sigh at supper, declaring, "There's never enough." So, the boy learned early what most of the world believes: success belongs to others, and money only comes through sweat and suffering. He inherited not a fortune, but a frequency, a vibration of lack that followed him into adulthood like an unseen shadow. He was diligent, talented, yes, but no matter what he did, doors closed, clients vanished, checks were late. He was always nearly there, but never quite through. His mind, like so many, was filled with knowledge, but empty of truth. So, his labor bore thorns instead of figs. Thomas came to me in distress. He'd tried affirmations, read countless books, taken every modern course, but his outer life wouldn't shift. "Why?" he asked. "Do I keep circling the same mountain?" I told him the truth that set him free. "Because you're trying to change your life through effort instead of dominion. You're thinking your way into better, when the law demands you speak your way into truth. For the subconscious can't be transformed by logic. It only responds to the rhythmic, confident word." I gave him this declaration: "I am the rich child of a loving Father. My supply is endless, effortless, immediate, and divine." And I told him to speak it morning, noon, and night, not with hope, but with knowing, not to make it come, but because it already has. At first, his tongue stumbled, his voice cracked. The words felt foreign, like wearing royal robes while still feeling like a servant. But I told him, "Keep going. You're not lying. You're testifying to spiritual law. You're not faking. You're realigning with your original estate." And so he did. He walked the streets declaring, "My wealth now flows. My good now shows. My gates are open wide." He said it aloud while washing dishes, putting on his shoes, staring at a bank account that hadn't yet caught up. And within weeks, not years, the substance began to obey. An old client returned with a larger offer than ever before. A job interview turned into a consulting contract he never even applied for. A cousin he hadn't seen in years wired him money unprovoked, saying, "I don't know why, but I felt moved to help you." And I smiled when he told me, for I knew why. His vibration had changed. His consciousness had expanded. His word had gone forth and made crooked places straight. He sent his word and healed them, and delivered them from their destruction. Let me tell you something divine. Your situation isn't stubborn. Your word has simply not been consistent. When your word is double-minded, your world is double. But when your word is rhythmic, bold, and faithful, your world must realign. Thomas didn't hustle or plan or beg. He declared, and riches came. He affirmed, and the world obeyed. He took his authority back from appearances and gave it to truth. There was a night when he told me, with tears in his eyes, "I no longer chase, I declare." And I said, "Now you walk with kings. Now you speak with law." For he had become what I call a spiritual millionaire, not just in gold, but in consciousness. And I tell you, what happened to Thomas isn't rare. It's only rare because few obey the spiritual process long enough to let the old world fall away. They plant the seed but don't water it. They speak the word but cancel it with worry. They declare in the morning and doubt by noon. But the top 1%, the true top, don't waver. They don't consult circumstances. They don't rehearse limitation. They speak as if the thing is done, because spiritually, it is. Before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The moment you speak the law, faith, the vibration goes out. The rearrangement begins. And if you hold your tone, your tempo, your trust, the manifestation will arrive with divine precision. So, I ask you now, not in theory, but with sacred urgency, what is your word creating? What are you rehearsing in the theater of your mind? Do you imagine overdrafts and late fees, or do you see yourself crowned with gold and wrapped in favor? The difference between a pauper and a prince isn't salary, it's speech. The top 1% think differently because they speak differently. And you can join them not tomorrow, not next year, but now, with one word, one choice, one declaration. Let's approach you now, not as a student, but as a soul with authority, a soul who may have forgotten but hasn't been disinherited, a soul who has tried, oh how you've tried, but who hasn't yet spoken with power. Let's set aside your history, your reasons, every false crown the world has placed upon your head: poverty, struggle, delay, confusion, and let's return to the altar of truth. I tell you this, your wealth isn't waiting in the marketplace. It's not hiding in a promotion. It's not held hostage by your education, your resume, or your past. Your wealth is within. It's spiritual substance. It's divine pattern. It's infinite and personal, and it's shaped only and always by the word you speak. So I ask you plainly, what is your word? What have you been declaring over your life? Have you said, money is tight, I can't catch a break, I'm always behind, nothing ever works for me? Then, you've built an altar to lack, you've crowned a false king. You've placed your own good outside your reach and called it fate. But I tell you now, with sacred clarity, your life isn't a mystery, it's a mirror. It reflects your inner decree. If you speak failure, failure will be faithful. If you speak delay, delay will kneel at your feet. If you speak scarcity, even an open door will seem invisible. You must become violent with your old speech. Cast it out, dismantle it, renounce it. It's not the voice of God within you. It's the whisper of the collective mind, the echo of a world that has forgotten heaven. Now, let's shift. Right now, not tomorrow, not after another book, video, or course. I speak to your spirit and say, this is the hour of reversal. This is the moment of mental wealth. This is where you stop asking and begin declaring, and I give you new words to carry forth from your tongue like royal edicts. You shall say, I am the rich child of God. I have wealth in my word. I have power in my declaration. I have prosperity in my presence. Everywhere I go, the substance of spirit flows to me, through me, and around me in divine arrangement. Don't say this once and hope. Speak it rhythmically. Speak it poetically. Speak it until your bones believe it, until your breath carries it, until your shadow begins to glow with its truth. Say it while walking, bathing, cooking, standing in line. You're not trying to get rich. You're reclaiming your divine state, for the kingdom of God isn't effort, it's utterance. Not striving, but speech. Say to this mountain, be removed and cast into the sea, and the mountain must obey. If your mountain hasn't moved, it's because your words have been soft, inconsistent, or drowned in fear. But I call you now to speak like one who knows, one who understands that every syllable, when aligned with spiritual law, is a seed of unstoppable harvest. And let's also address the fears that rise when we begin to claim, what if it doesn't work? What if I sound foolish? What if I get my hopes up and nothing changes? But my dear, that is precisely the voice you must overpower. That is the serpent whispering limitation into your soul. Crush it with your word. You must speak through your doubt. You must declare through your trembling. For it is written, let the weak say, I am strong. Don't feel strong. Say it. The spoken word changes the feeling. The declaration changes the frequency. The rhythm changes the field. Here is your instruction, and it's not complicated. It is spiritual, sacred, and sure. Speak abundance now. Speak wealth now. Speak supply now. And if appearances mock you, speak again and again and again, until the mocking melts and the outer conforms. Do not adjust your words to match your life. Adjust your life to match your words. You are not a reporter. You are a ruler. Speak not of what is, speak of what must be. That's how the top 1% live. They don't describe, they decree. So rise now, rise with your word, rise with your rhythm, rise with your crown. You have been given dominion. You made him to have dominion over the works of your hands. That includes money, business, success. Let it be so now. Let it be spoken now. Let it be claimed now. For the substance of heaven is listening, and it waits not for effort, but for instruction. Now listen, child of God, for I shall speak plainly. The true secret of the top 1% isn't strategy, timing, inheritance, networking, or the right market or school. It's spiritual confidence in the unseen. They may not say it aloud in pulpits or prayers, but in their hearts, they operate with assumption. They assume success. They assume favor. They assume money, opportunity, and power will rise to meet them. And I tell you this because spiritual law doesn't care about labels. These individuals may not kneel in a church, but they kneel to their inner vision. They serve the law, and the law serves them. The law of assumption, the law of expectancy, the law of spoken decree. They obey it without fail. That is their secret. That is their access. And you, dear soul, you were born with the same access. You were never meant to plead for your good. You were meant to command it. You weren't designed to knock endlessly. You were designed to speak and have the door fly open. For the word says, behold, I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. The only one who shuts that door is you, with your disbelief, your double-mindedness, your attachment to the visible. But the moment you release what you see and trust what you speak, the door swings wide, the gates lift, the good rushes in. You thought the problem was external. No money, no time, no opportunity. But I tell you, the problem was never the lack itself. The problem was your agreement with the lack. You allowed it to become identity. You fed it with attention. You spoke of it as if it had dominion, but it never did. It was only a shadow, and shadows flee when the light of truth is spoken. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. You must say the same. Let there be wealth, let there be ease, let there be success, let there be supply. Let there be open doors, multiplying harvests, divine appointments, right opportunities, gold in my hands, and favor on my name. Let it be, and it is. This is how the top 1% think. They don't doubt their right to receive. They don't tremble before decisions. They don't consult fear. They don't ask permission to prosper. They assume the answer is yes, because in spiritual law, it already is. They don't collapse in the face of delay. They decree again. They don't shrink in the presence of adversity. They speak louder, bolder, clearer, and life conforms. Not because they are chosen in the flesh, but because they choose in the spirit. You may have spent years feeling behind. You may have spent months in confusion, wondering what step to take next. But I tell you this day, the step isn't outward, it's upward. You must rise into your spiritual dominion. You must return to the throne that has always been yours. You must reclaim your crown not of ego, but of law. For the government of your life rests upon your shoulders, and your word is the scepter. Hold it high, wield it without apology. Speak as a sovereign, think like the 1%ed, with intellect, but with spiritual certainty. Do you see now? The problem was the doorway. The lack was the instruction. The closed door was the call to speak. And the moment you answer that call not with complaint, but with command, the law obeys. The heavens align, and the manifestation begins. Call to me, and I will answer you, and show you great and mighty things, which you do not know. And so I say, rise not tomorrow, now. Speak your way into the rhythm of riches. Think as the wealthy, think not with anxiety, but with alignment hand. The world will rise to meet you, as it always rises to meet the bold, the faithful, the ones who know. My word does not return void. It prospers in the thing for which I send it. Speak now, declare now, and receive what was always yours. Let us now speak the word, not to beg, not to plead, but to align. Let us declare with the rhythm of heaven, with the cadence of certainty, with the tone of divine dominion. I speak now not as a supplicant, but as a lawgiver. I speak now as one who knows that the word spoken in faith becomes flesh, becomes gold, becomes open doors, and overflowing storehouses. Let every cell in your body now come into agreement with what is already true in spirit. Repeat with me, declare aloud, feel the vibration change. I do not chase wealth. I summon it with my word, for the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Money is not my master. Money is my messenger. It comes when I speak. It flows when I rest. It multiplies when I praise. My supply is divine, invisible, and immediate. I see no delay, for I walk by faith and not by sight. I do not wait. I receive. I do not earn. I align. I do not hustle. I command. Every word I speak is a gold coin in the vaults of heaven. The more I speak, the more is released. The more I praise, the more is poured out. The more I decree, the faster the gates swing open. There is no limit in God. Therefore, there is no limit in me. My inheritance is here. My favor is active. My doors are open. No one can shut what God has opened. No circumstance can block what I have blessed. No past can undo what I now declare. I am no longer confused. I am no longer timid. I am no longer waiting. I think like the 1%. I speak like the 1%. I expect like the 1%. I walk in the rhythm of riches. I live by divine law. I speak, and it is so. Now feel this vibration seal itself in your bones. Feel your old thoughts dissolve. Feel the atmosphere shift. The substance has been activated. You have spoken it, and it is done. If this word has stirred your soul, if something ancient within you remembered its crown, if the cells in your body rose up and shouted, "Yes, this is the truth of me," then I invite you to do one thing, not for me, not for performance, but as a sacred act of spiritual agreement. Speak your wealth into the visible realm. Claim it aloud. Affirm it publicly. Let the universe hear it. Let your subconscious register it. Let the scroll of your life be rewritten with a single comment, a single sentence, a single echo of divine law. Say it with me in the comments now. I now think the thoughts of divine wealth. My word is my wand. Let this be the hour your thinking changed. Let this be the moment you stopped waiting and started commanding. Let this be the line in the sand where you no longer speak as a beggar, but as a builder, a ruler, a co-creator with God. And every time you are tempted to shrink, return to your declaration. Every time fear whispers, answer it with rhythm. You are no longer subject to appearances. You are now a speaker of substance, a thinker of divine wealth, a spiritual millionaire in vibration and word. The kingdom is not far. It is not in the future. It is in your mouth. Speak, and it shall be done for you.